Okay, it is time for bird of the day. Now, this is a bird that I asked you for a suggestion, and I said no corvids. They're special occasion only birds. And you gave me a suggestion, and I'm like, I thought that was a child's plaything that Charlie Brown was always getting stuck in the air. But no, of course, we're not talking about that kind of kite. We're talking about this kind of kite, the red kite. Look at him.
Oh, it's so pretty,
Oh, they're very
right?
pretty. They're in my opinion some of the prettiest birds in the order that includes they're hawks, eagles, and kites.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, pretty badass looking birds. And yeah, just the patterning on their feathers it's beautiful. Each feather having that kind of like red and black stripiness to them, and they're kind of light gray, white. Ah, it's beautiful, beautiful birds. And well, if you can't tell, these are birds of prey just by looking at them. So, how big are they? Well, from beak to tip of tail, they are 24 to 28 inches long, with about a 69 to 70 inch wingspan. It's a pretty big wingspan compared to body size, but yeah, I mean, you can look at that in the picture. Nice big broad wings, which they use for soaring and circling. One of those birds that can just take off and just ride the currents without flapping their wings and just fly for hours without spending any effort. It's pretty cool. Their weight is usually between 28 to 42 ounces. And, God, you know what? Probably half people watch right now are using metric. So sorry. Do the conversion, people. I don't know what your grams and centimeters are.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm thinking meters. I'm sorry.
I mean, general rule of thumb is like inches to centimeters is about 2.5. So,
Yeah,
you say something like what, 70 to, let's just say 70 to 90 centimeters long.
that's like 70 inches around.
Yeah, I know it's not exactly 2.5, but it's a good general rule of thumb to make the math easier. And 1 ounce is 28.3495 grams. So yeah, we got the converters in there.
Thank you.
Okay, well, their average lifespan is 10 years. How long is that in metric?
10 years.
Yeah, how long is 10 years in metric?
10 years?
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes, the oldest one that was ever banded in the wild lives to 20. It was 25 years and 8 months old, so pretty good for a wild one.
Damn,
and
yeah.
the oldest ever in captivity lived at 29 years old. So there you go. So average 10 years. Well, I mean, it's a dangerous world out there for birds. So as I was saying, they are in the order Aciptriformes, and that is the order that includes hawks and eagles and kites. And kites are kind of on their own little family, a little bit separate. So it's like a lot of people think like, oh, is a kite a type of hawk? They are not technically hawks. They are very closely related to hawks, but they are not hawks. Not hawks. You see on the map there where they live. They are pretty much found. They're bits and pieces of most countries in Europe, but especially looks like hey. Talking Germany, looks like Germany's kind of where a lot of the concentration is, but also in the Poland, down into France, and even a little bit the southern tip of the Scandinavia is there.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, and they've also been spotted, as you can see, little bits of North Africa. They are occasionally spotted, but it's pretty rare to see them there. But yeah, that's where you're gonna find them.
I love the way they look in flight. They really do look like a kite.
I didn't quite finish this slide. Apparently, I left the D's at the bottom.
Oh, whoops!
Just ignore that. Here we can
D
fix
D
this.
D D D.
That's not.
Oh,
hello.
It's me.
We fixed it. That's better. Okay. Well, this is a page where I usually talk about the reproductive behaviors. There wasn't a lot to find. So the males and the females are going to build a nest together. And they are monogamous for a season, but oftentimes they do the same mating pair will pair up again in subsequent seasons, but they don't do it often enough to say that this species mates for life. But during 1 year, a male and a female are going to stick together the whole time, and they're going to build the nest together. And a lot of times, like, they'll find a nest. Like, they really like vulture nests. They like to find old vulture nests. But big thing is high up in the air on a good, sturdy, big tree. That's what they like. So they may build it. They may take over another nest. But regardless, they're going to be continuously adding to the nest. So even if they find a nest that's already built, they're gonna spruce up the place. Especially with spruce needles, I guess. Now, they like to get, like, soft things like moss and dirt and stuff to put the little cushion where the eggs are laid. But then, like, big, thick sticks and stuff, they're pretty big nests because, well, they're pretty big birds. And even after the eggs are laid, the male will usually continue to bring material to the nest just to help freshen the place up a little bit. Most of the time, during incubation, the female's going to be the one sitting on the eggs. And he'll often bring her food to eat, but every once in a while she'll leave the nest to go do stuff, and the male will take over. So female does most of it. The male will do it. Sometimes female gotta go hunt on her own. And in terms of clutches, they only do one per year, and you're gonna be 1 to 3 eggs per clutch. So they're one of those species that doesn't rely as heavily on make tons of babies and expect half of them to die. They're very protective parents, and the infant mortality rate is actually far lower than a lot of other smaller birds. So they're able to sustain a population with only 1 to 3 eggs per year. So they can do pretty good. Now look at that mama there with the little nestlings. Aren't they cute little fuzzballs? There's the cute little fuzzballs.
Yeah.
And so they only attempt 1 clutch per season, but if early on in the clutch, like bad weather or a predator ends up causing the eggs to not be eggs anymore, then they'll sometimes try another one. But if they have a successful clutch of babies, they're not going to try and do another one that same year. They're going to wait another year. And they're usually going to be laying the eggs in late April, early May, and the babies are going to be fledged by July, ready to leave the nest. They grow up so fast.
That's quick, damn.
Well, I mean, they still stick around. Like, when they fledge, they basically don't leave their parents until they're a year old, but they learn to fly pretty quick. Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah.
I couldn't learn flying that quick.
Me neither. Okay. So here's the thing is that despite the way they look and despite their hawk-like appearance, these guys actually do quite a bit of scavenging. They eat a lot of carrion. They're known to grab roadkill on the side of the road, or if like a wolf or something has killed a carcass, they may come down and strip it for those little tasty bits. But they're not pure. They also are known to hunt. They do like to hunt small rodents and stuff. So your voles, your mice, your rats, stuff like that. But they've also been known to, like, if like a bigger bird has like a good prey and has already killed it, they might like swoop in and be like, yoink, mine. Yeah.
They're crows at heart, I want to say.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, crows don't like to hunt too much. These guys are probably way better hunters than crows, but yeah, they're opportunistic. They'll take what they can get. But one of the things that's been a big problem is that a lot of the ways that people have been used to do pest control is through the use of poisons. And when you poison a rat and the rat dies of poison, and then a carrion eater that likes small game finds it and eats it, then you've poisoned the bird too. And it's been a big problem. And they're trying to get people to not poison rats and stuff because it's been pretty bad for the kite population. In fact, the red kite is one that's been tumultuous through the past. They used to number in the like 50,000s in the British Isles, and by the early 1950s, there were 2 left in the UK, in the entire British Isles. 2 from like 50,000. But luckily, through the rest of Europe, they had not gone extinct, and they've realized that, see, here's the thing. They were intentionally eradicated. Like, farmers, like, intentionally murdered them and genocided these poor birds. Because they thought that they were killing their chickens. And it was like, well, we need to kill these things to save our farms. And it turns out the kites weren't the ones killing the chickens.
What's the foxes, right?
Mostly foxes, yeah. But like, I mean, but also other large birds of prey. The kite was wrongly assumed to be a threat, and they've actually now, with a lot of study, it found it's like, yeah, actually, kites are pretty much no threat to livestock, like pretty much none at all. And thanks to that studying and better understanding, they've been able to reintroduce them, and now in the UK, they're back up to over 35,000.
Let's go.
Yeah. So they're actually thriving now in the UK, and the population's continuing to grow there. However, their population is still declining in the rest of Europe.
Oh
But like
no.
overall, the population's been pretty stable, like in terms of overall total for like the last 20 years. So they are classified as least concern right now, but it's just like, I would say least concern, maybe not so much. We got to work on it, but I think they are really been using to. I think people have come around on them and realized that these are just beautiful, wonderful birds that are doing a good service and not hurting our farmers, not hurting anybody. They're carrion getters. They're good birds. But so yeah, it's. But the worst thing I heard is that in Poland, in certain villages, they had a ritual called the beheading of the kite, where they would take a kite and do like a big ritual with music and dance and all that and behead it because they were, they're seen as pests and representative crime and ill omen. Plus and minus, this ritual is still going on, but it's been like 30 years since they've actually used a real kite. Now they just use like it's now done with like a like an effigy, like a stuffed animal type thing that's like stuffed and uses like feathers and stuff. So it's like, but even then it's just like, okay, I'm glad that you're no longer killing an actual kite, but I still don't like the implication of what you're doing. I still don't like the symbology of it. Do better, Poland. Come on. I don't
Yeah.
like
Like
that.
crimes are done by people. How are birds responsible for that?
I know. It's so wrong. Oh, and one little thing, their tails. I should put this on the other page. Their tails, they actually found that like when they're flying and soaring, that they have a lot more tail movement than other birds, and they use their tails as rudders to like steer and fly around in the air. That's really cool.
They're very agile.
Yes.
And if you see one and like a live show or something, wonderful birds to watch flying. Other birds don't do that. What they do.
Yeah, absolutely masters of flight and acrobatics. Beautiful bird. I couldn't find a good short video on them on YouTube, but go on YouTube. There's plenty of videos out there showing these amazing birds flying and doing all this kind of cool stuff. So, yeah. So, I guess my my final thoughts on the red kite is I love these birds. I mean, I like birds of prey. I think they're cool. I think they're as mean as they can seem. They provide a very valuable and important look. Do you like mice and rats? Then you should love. If the answer to that is no, then you should absolutely love birds of prey. And carrion eaters are super important for the environment and Cleveland. I have not said I love these birds on every bird. I would like to take you back to the episodes on the petrels and the seagulls and. But I mean, yeah, most birds. I'm gonna say I love these birds.
I can understand the sentiment on seagulls.
Birds. All birds. But no, I don't say I love. Insert most waterfowl here. Look, our kites. Are they my favorite bird of prey? No, that goes to the osprey. But I think
Those are very
these
cool
guys
too.
I would rate these guys higher than pretty much any type of hawk or eagle. I like them that much. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got
Maybe not all vultures though. There's some vultures that I fucking love.
Oh, vultures are super cool as well. Oh my gosh, fascinating.
Bearded vultures are my favorite vulture.
Oh yeah, they're style queens of the bird world. They just look at them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Red kite, great bird. Happy to have learned all about it, and I hope you are happy to learn about it too. So we're gonna call this bird of the day a done.